Hello, everyone. This is Domina Sofia here at Domumsapientiae, the House of Wisdom. How are you? I'd like to say thank you for joining me. I do appreciate you being here. For those of you that are goddess daughters, alumni, or current, as well as initiates, because initiates are current, I'm happy that you're here. Oh, I have to say this real quick before I forget. Ladies, especially those of you that are part of the Oracle's Keep, and I have some ladies actually are also have access to Luxuria Chamber 1. I checked out the numbers today because, once again, those in Oracle's Keep, they're working on a very specific assignment this summer, and it does require that they spend time in Luxuria. I saw that the numbers have increased, which means you have been actively inside our custom GTP Luxuria, our AI Oracle, going over information, asking questions, learning more about yourself, as well as the opportunities, experiences you desire to experience alone and with the right archetype energies of the various affluent, rich, and wealthy men. I'm proud of you. I'm looking forward to our next gathering, which comes up next week, next Saturday. I'm looking forward to reading your summaries and seeing what you've learned and discovered about yourself as we continue on this journey that we're on for the summer. Those of you that have access to Luxuria that may not be part of the Oracle's Keep, I do appreciate you utilizing her. I've said before, when I create these custom GTPs, I do it because it's information I have a desire to share with my ladies who are really moving through their world, learning who they are, understand the kind of lifestyle they desire to live on their own, as well as in the company of the right men that they're choosing to be a part of their life. Remember, you're the one in charge. You are the energy. You are the master plan. You are the master blueprint. It's you. So when you understand how to once again call forward who, what, where, and the whys of your life, you live it differently and definitely with more confidence and happier. So I want to make sure I mention that. And also, before I forget, those of you that actually have become temples, patron temples, we have our second gathering of the month tomorrow. Our gatherings are Wednesday evening, first Wednesday every month in the evening, and then we have our second gathering of the month every third Sunday in the afternoon. So tomorrow it begins together between 3 and 4:30 Eastern Daylight. So I look forward to seeing you and also hearing from you. How are you enjoying your assignments? How are you enjoying your lessons? How are you enjoying the flip books? The one thing that I'm loving is I have the ability to create more interactive lessons for the goddess daughters and my initiates. So we take the information now and it becomes more personal, and you can now do it and excuse me, use the information on your phones. Yeah, finally, I know it's about time. I know. I know, but you know what? Things arrive in my world when they're supposed to. I've learned that a long time ago. It happens when it's supposed to happen. So now, for those of you that are part of the opulent woman, because I'm sorry, I forgot to mention we have how I'm doing most of the works, the education with the temple right now is through the patronage. The 6-week master class, I have one that have scheduled that's going to be done. I have a co-host, which is one of my elders of the temple, Ms. Greer. Some of you know who she is. She and I actually have created a master class, a 6-week master class, which I will be sharing with you ladies. So watch out for your emails, and goddess daughters, I'll be sending information out to you here shortly in reference to this master class with Ms. Greer. It's really good. And it's on socialization. How can I explain it? Really understand how to cultivate and create your social circle. That's all I'm going to say. It's really great information, especially as you are now choosing to move into spaces that you may be unaccustomed to, or you may already be in, but have not been utilizing properly and to the fullest. But for the most part, what I'm sharing will be done through the temple and will be done through the patronage. And with the patronage, you have two options. Path one is the opulent woman, and that's based upon the opulent woman prayer book. And here's the thing, when you go check out this new aspect of the temple, you have the opportunity now to read about it, listen to it. I put together an audio finally that you can listen to and learn more about the paths. And you also have a chance to sample. There's actually a preview where you can actually go in and actually experience one of the lessons. That's for the opulent woman, as well as the 26 laws of the Muse. So whether you choose to be, step deeper into knowing self and really living your life as an opulent woman, emotionally, physically, spiritually, romantically, financially, it's all in the opulent woman as you once again learn how to call forward, to speak into existence the options that you're selecting for your life. Or if you've decided that you're going to live in the energy of being a muse, because here's the thing about being a muse, it's not something that you proclaim necessarily, it's who you are. Let me explain. Remember, I've been studying women's history for forever and a day. And I love that more information is coming out about truly iconic women. I love it. Every woman who I've studied over the years, every woman who I know, as well as myself and goddess daughters, because I have goddess daughters who are definitely stepping into the energy of the muse and allowing themselves to finally receive the type of lifestyle that comes from being a muse. They're different. The one thing that creates the commonality, the thread that kind of weaves through all of them, is their decision to choose to be truly who they are. Authenticity is one of the most important factors because you can never call yourself a muse if you're choosing to be a copycat of others or if you're choosing to minimize yourself. If you know anything, remember the muses are the ones who inspire art, music, science, literature, buildings, everything. Men create for women. Now they're doing some weird stuff now for each other, but for the most part, men create for women. They create to take care of us. They create to show their appreciation of us. Let's think about this. Let's go back to the Gilded Age. Back during the days in America of the robber barons, the Carnegies and Vanderbilts and Rockefellers and blah 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 blah. And the Vanderbilt is the best one. It's the best example I can give you because we still have at least one house standing, maybe two, that the Vanderbilts built during their heyday. And I know one of them, I believe the summer house that oh, what was her name? Oh my gosh, I can't Consuelo's mother. I can't think of her first name right now. But their husbands, these wealthy men, took pride in creating these absolutely exquisite homes for their wives. I mean, just ridiculously expensive, wonderfully expensive homes because the home was their woman's, their wife's domain. And not just in the sense of she's being in charge of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry. No, that was her fortress. That was her battlefield. That's where she ran the world, literally. You've heard of Mrs. Astor? The 400 and Mrs. Astor, if you know, some of you know what I'm talking about, because she comes up out of that time period. And Mrs. Astor, she took it upon herself to decide who was or was not relevant in their social circles. And the funny thing is, and this is what makes me laugh out loud, the reason why the number was 400 because it was that was the amount of people that could fit into her ballroom. Where they're entertained, the dancing, the orchestra, the music, the whatever. 400 people. That's all she could fit in there without it being a problem. And she held that space. Matter of fact, I believe she comes up in the laws, the 26 laws of the Muse. I have to double check, but I believe she is mentioned because with the laws of the Muse, they're based upon women. The energies, the the structure, the protocols, how we actually live and do in our being as a muse. And these are things I've learned over the years. These are things I do myself. These are things I've noticed through all of my reading and educating myself on these women. The women that I have been studying literally date back thousands of years. I mean, lived thousands of years ago, all the way up to modern day. And I'm about to add a few more to it because there's some I actually forgot to add into the ones that I have that I'm working on a biography for. So biography, try it again. Working on an extended biography on these women. Because I realize with the laws, it gives you a really good information on them, but I want to go deeper. I feel it's very important that you also understand and know these women's origin stories because some of them started with nothing, and some of them started with less than nothing and wound up, we're still talking about them today. They're still part of our discussions today. They're still icons today. And some of them did start with more privileged and chose to live differently than what was expected of them based upon their particular social status. Because remember, the muse chooses herself first. She chooses to be the most authentic version of herself because she understands the importance of being happy, of allowing herself to literally live her purpose. Now, I understand some of you may not understand what your purpose is right now. Well, here's the kicker. If you haven't taken time out to allow yourself to discover it, you're not going to know. Because when you're in that energy, every muse that you will read about was a courageous woman because she made the decision to be self. That meant she was going to go against status quo. She was going to go against what was expected of her based upon her time period of living. Some of them did not have happy endings. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of them had some pretty awful endings. They did. Due to jealousy, insecurities, and usually of men. But the mark they left behind. And the beautiful thing about nowadays, if you really understand how to move through your world, you can avoid the tragedies that some of these women experience because they didn't have some of the protections that we have nowadays. But most of them, their lives were pretty flippin' awesome. They really were. Doesn't matter where they began. A good chunk of them had lives that just were and are amazing based upon her choosing to be authentic and not giving a flying whatever about other people's pressures and attempts to make decisions about who she needs to be for their benefit. As women are returning to the knowledge and the wisdom of who we are as creators, as the blueprint, as the energy that fuels everything, it is feminine energy that is the source and supply. Masculine energy is what builds it out. The source is feminine. So learning how to co-create and live harmoniously with these energies, this is our goal. And the muses, the women who are actually considered to be muses, remember the muses are the ones who inspired everything. Music, art, literature, architecture, fashion, you name it, their thumbprints on it. And it was usually offered up to them through the devotion of men who just were in awe of them. And women who chose their own path. Women who chose to do things that you're not supposed to do this. You're a woman, you're a girl, you can't do this. Dude, I made you, we make you. We can do anything. We're the blueprint. The wisdom sits inside of us. Remember, the action plan comes through the masculine energy, and men and women have masculine energy just as men have feminine energy. It's what you utilize it for and how you embody it. So as I'm going through, once again, the lessons, the 26 laws, They really are fascinating because you start to understand and see how this applies to your life. As I mentioned earlier, the goddess daughters that are sitting inside of Luxuria right now, that are part of the Oracle's Keep. And once again, I have some folks that actually did take advantage of the opportunity to join the monthly membership I was offering for Luxuria. It is no longer available, just so you know. It's no longer available. I'm doing something different with it. So when it does come back, it's going to be different. But for those who did take up the opportunity to join, they'll also have access to her. And I'm receiving some really, really beautiful feedback in reference to their self-discovery. It is so important to take the time out to really sit down and think about who you are. And then once again, Wealthy Wife 3, who are you? What do you desire? And your whys. You will accomplish nothing lasting in your life if you're unclear. Most of you are, well, not even, most people aren't even clear about their careers, to be honest. Because think about it, most of it change your jobs 5, 6 times because they really don't know they don't really haven't found their passion, or they're still trying to appease other people. So that who are you question is always vital because without a true answer, you just kind of what was the example they give? Like a little toy boat bobbing around on the ocean. It just kind of you have to go wherever the ocean bounces you off to because you haven't taken time out to set your own course. But when you choose and allow yourself to once again to be, because once again there's no becoming. You came in complete. Doesn't feel like it at times, but you came in as a whole person with a wealth of information. It's just deciding to tap into it, rediscover it, and then own the parts of it which really add joy to your life. That's another thing about a muse. She loves her life. It may not have been perfect, maybe things that happened that weren't the best, but it was in the living her truth that the joy happens. I think of an example of a life that may not have been perfect was Frida Kahlo, the Mexican artist. Gosh, her first, or the early years of her life were just, she was bedridden because of a horrific accident that she experienced, a bus accident that literally destroyed her body. And she learned how to paint while lying in a bed. Her mother her mother literally set up an easel that hung above her bed so she could learn how she could paint. Amuse's life is full of ups and downs, and hers was full of some ups and downs for sure. But she thrived because she was living her truth. She was doing what she loved. Her artwork is, in some of the best museums in the world. I'm sure there's some stuff in private collections as well. Happier stories, because not all of them were tragic. There were some that were very, very happy, happy stories and happy endings, well-lived lives. There's another one of my favorite courtesans, Ninon, I can never pronounce her last name, but French courtesan. This woman was a courtesan up until she was in her 80s, and she was still highly revered as a courtesan. I'm laughing because there was somebody shared a story about her yesterday. I ran across on Instagram, and what did they say? She had, what was it? There was a younger man she was like 79 years old. And there was this younger man that was obsessed with her, which was not, Tuesday for her because her presence, her being, who she was literally catnip for men when she was younger, middle age, all the way into her elder years, right? And she told this young man, she was like 79, if you, meaning him, are still around on my 80th birthday, he's like, I think he was in his 20s, right? I think he was like way younger than her. She goes, if you're still around and I turn 80, then you can become my lover. He was still around. Obviously, she was still around. She lived to 84. So when she turned 80, this young man became her lover. She was known to host some of the best salons. She brought men. Was that My Milkshake Brings the Boys to the Yard? She was bringing the men and the boys to the yard, okay? I gotta find her book. I got her book floating here somewhere. But I share these stories with you guys because I've shared so many women, so many different types, younger, older, historical, current. I mean, there's so many women I've shared with you. And the common thread is the decision that they made to live their lives, to choose themselves, to literally throw up two middle fingers to individuals who were literally telling them, you can't do that. What's wrong with you? Or you think you're better than everybody else. No, it's not thinking I'm better than anybody else. It's simply understanding I'm choosing to live my life based upon who I am. And may not know what that means in the beginning, but willing to continue to allow it to show up and then live the parts that feel best for me. It's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant about the temple. I have shared so much information with you guys over the years. I said before, many of you came and have been worked with me, either through live master classes, one-on-one, private tutoring, different memberships I've done over the years, books that I've created over the years. And the books are changing. Right now, I've discovered I can do flip books. I was like, oh my gosh, flip books. Which means you're not going to read them on your phones. I just did a test run with some of the Goddess daughters, and I got it. I'm so behind at emails. I know, surprise, right? Oh, who's- the feedback I received because I did send out to some of the Goddess daughters um, samples, well, actually, it wasn't samples. It was actually the whole. They were complete aspects of the Paramour Bible to get some feedback and to see how the books were showing up and the interactive things they were working with were showing up on their phones. You can now access information that is created through the temple on your phone. You can do your journaling on the phone now. You can keep your affirmations, not do declarations, your invocations. Everything can be now handled through your phone. That alone makes me do a happy dance. So, what about you? Are you ready to step into the energy which creates the muse? Because here's a kicker, you just cannot claim yourself to be a muse. There has to be things about you that have inspired others to view you as their muse, as someone who inspires them to be bigger, better, and more. That inspires the level of devotion that is just iconic, to put it mildly. I said before, I've shared with you guys my story and bits and pieces in reference to the artist. I said before, I'm an artist muse. Nothing that I've done deliberately on my part. I've never sat for most of the paintings that have been done about in reference to me. Literally, I remember I said one of the first ones that was done, literally was a man who saw me in the cafeteria on my college campus. I was like in the main student, oh, forget what it's called right now. Anyway, I was in the main student, what do they call them? God, my brain's doing what it's doing right now. Anyway, I was there. And I remember him. I remember him because he was sitting there sketching, doing sketches. And you had a chance to speak to him briefly because when someone's looking at you and looking at you and looking, you eventually say hi because you can't figure why they're staring at you for so long. And we started speaking. We had a chance to talk, and he was showing me this man was so talented, beautiful artwork. And he told me, he goes, I asked me first, he said, I want to paint you. I was like, okay, I don't know you. So there's no way I'm leaving this campus to go anywhere. No, thank you. I'm a very smart young lady, okay? He's like, well, you know what? I'm still going to paint you. I said, okay. What am I going to do? The man just sat there and sketched me. He has my face. He has my body, what I look like, fully clothed. He has my body because he see me standing, moving around. He has a full picture of what I look like. And apparently he did, because I've mentioned before, a gentleman had went to a gallery show, somebody else I just ran into, and the gentleman walks up to me and didn't know the man. He's like, oh my gosh. He goes, you're real. I'm like, okay. Student union, that's it. Student union. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, what are you talking about? In my head. I go, excuse me? He goes, I was just at such and such a gallery. There had been an artist was presenting his work at this gallery downtown, and there's this painting of this beautiful young woman. He goes, and it's you. I was like, it's me. He's like, yeah. I was like, wow, okay. What am I going to do, right? There are other incidents where my face and body pop up in other places too. Fetish art. That one, I think, and I've had a chance to see those, some of them, not all of them. I've had a chance to see that. That is so cool, by the way. To see yourself created as a pinup. Oh, that's so fun. I was like, oh wow. Very lovely. And there have been other variations of pictures created of me over the years. An artist muse. There's more. I rarely share all of it outside of the temple. I don't even share all of it in the temple, because some of the stuff that is done to memorialize me has been interesting, to put it mildly. But this is what happens when your essence inspires someone. They want to find a way to cherish you. They want to find a way to remember you, to still stay close to you. And the goal is, once again, it's not, and it's just because you are being authentically you. So think about yourself. What do you love to do? Who are you? Who have you inspired? Do you desire to be the muse? Do you desire to open up the aspect of you and finally live in that energy? Because here's the thing. I don't know if I mentioned it. This is the third version of this audio I've done, just so you know. So I may not have mentioned or may have mentioned it. Excuse me. The muse, her beauty is uniquely hers. She may be physically gorgeous. She may be not so physically gorgeous. She may have a very unique appearance. There are plenty of women who are considered muses that had a unique appearance. There are muses who are absolutely gorgeous, and beauty's not enough because it's about the totality of your personality, who you are as an entire person. Some women who are considered to be muses are great people. Some of them were a nightmare. They were terrors. Lola Montez, the quartet. Lola was, some of you know what I'm talking about once again, because some of you have studied courtesans. Lola Montez. Oh my gosh. She was, oh my gosh, she was terrible. But in the same token, she was marvelous. This woman was so much that a king almost lost his entire kingdom to please her. Only reason why he didn't was the fact that they ran her out of town. Because until she was run out of town, he didn't have the good sense to leave her alone. And then she proceeds to go other places and terrorize people. And here's the funny thing about her. End of life, end of life, she became very saintly. I don't know if she became a monk or pretty close to it. Not a monk, a nun. Are very close. She became very pious and very low key in her uh, post courtesan years. As a public speaker, going around. Matter of fact, she's here in the U.S., going throughout the U.S., doing lectures and conversations. That song Lola Gets What Lola Wants. She probably was the inspiration for that particular song. But anyway, what about you? What about you? Because I know it's in there. I know it's a desire that you have because you're here with me. And I've been discussing the muse with you guys for years. This whole fresh crop of folks now talking about muses is very entertaining for me. Because we've been having a conversation over here for years. And there are those of you that have actually stepped into it, have been nurturing your muse, and some of you are still sitting on the fence. I don't know why. What are you waiting for? Because see, that is totally unmuse-like behavior. Muses, we don't wait. We don't. We don't. There's no waiting. We do. and deal with the consequences, the highs, the lows, the ins and outs. Because here's the thing, life is always about consequences, whether you choose to live your life fully and enjoy yourself, or you try to sit in the middle ground and you're miserable. Or you may not be miserable, but you're never really happy, never really sad. You're just kind of eh. If you're tired of being and ready to be whoa, come hang out with us. As I mentioned, the patronage is where it's going to be for the most part for now. I do have a live masterclass coming up once again with my when I'm with one of my elders from the temple. I'll be sharing more information of that throughout the week. But the patronage is where we're going to be studying. That's where we will be going into studies. This is where you have a chance to really, really unlock even deeper information and do it in a way that definitely feels more personal. And because you're going to have a chance to see me twice a month, you have a chance to ask questions and gather with your other initiates and goddess sisters. It's quite a lovely family of women that we have here inside the temple. They're so much fun. I do. You guys, I know they listen. Some of them actually listen out the audios. I have such a great time with them. I really do. They're so beautiful. Their personalities, their physicality, their desires, their willingness to once again learn who they are so they can be and thrive. Yes. So anyway, that's all for today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Oh, once again, if you're joining the to become a temple patron and do so today, I will send you guys the information to join us for our gathering tomorrow. So some of you I may actually have a chance to see and meet tomorrow. If that's the case, welcome. Talk to you later. Bye bye.